Flakes of yellow paint drifted down from the nicotine-stained ceiling and found permanent resting spots on the pale blue comforter that was bought for way less than what it was worth. Chester's eyes were locked in place, and his ears drifted to the sound of the screech owl just outside the open bay window. "Sleep is now farther away than the second moon," he said to the black room with a hollow grin. His heart used to be into this pondering on carpet colors and British absurdity. But the years of just laying here in the mud made every moment as pointless as the next. He could hear the voices of Pete and Jennifer Webb in the very back of his mind like an echo chamber. It was a panic, weaving and nervous. "Don't jump too high on that trampoline, boys," Jennifer yelled from the kitchen window, held open for the thick aroma of green beans and steamed poke salad to come pouring out in cones. "You'll break your neck," she hollered, holding a small lime green New Testament, the sun hitting it in rainbow washes that left streaks across the eyelids. The smell of perfect rain-soiled vegetation tiptoed through Chester's wide-open stained glass window, floated for a moment, then circled around the dusty concrete pit and splashed into his nostrils with a bang of nostalgia. Childhood. He thought out loud. "I bet the owl will get caught up in those mangled springs, rip all of his feathers out, scatter them across the neighbor's yard. I sure hope not." With a callous palm to his cheek, Chester couldn't remember if night birds felt suffering the way that night humans have since Eve and Adam or just before. He tossed the question down and flipped on a rusted aluminum flashlight, but the thought bounced back like a 25-cent Super Bowl. Do they feel anger and hate and abstract emotions? He began to quote Shakespeare's Hamlet to himself. Quote it to himself as he stumbled down the seemingly endless, moldy plywood hallway built by his dying father in 1996. Cancer was what did it. "Father, do they get horny? You know, hard as rocks? I wonder if Dad's a bird now." Tears came into his purple eyes, and for a brief moment, he could smell his father's brute aftershave. "The brain is a never-ending labyrinth, son, twisting and turning." He hoisted a fiberglass rope across a thickly spray-painted golden door frame with a black sign above it reading "Vacant." He breathed a sigh of relief. But the steady sting of those Vermont-based chemicals had already sent his brain into godlike rapture, and he thought of Ted MacArthur. So, Ted MacArthur appeared out of the empty gray space, holding a newspaper article with a bold headline reading, "The Pope has grandchild with entire Vatican. Nobody going in and out of Vatican City without proper paperwork." MacArthur points this out with his never-ending bony finger, and a chill of pure dread runs up Chester's spine, shattering his nervous system like a hammer on a gong. The ginseng tea in the kettle starts to whistle, and he can no longer hold back his childlike voice. "Ted MacArthur, you're a godless man and a traitor to your community. You should be publicly hanged and forever forgotten about by God and man alike. I hope no human thoughts ever drift back onto your terrible likeness. The void I hope you return to, and the void you stay forever. Jesus can't save you. Your pastel sins will never be overlooked by a stark black and white creator. Oh. God, I wouldn't want that on my shoulders, Chester said, blankly masking the irrational fear back with clear masking tape. He was boldly staring into MacArthur's black abyss-like eyes when Chester thought he saw a lot of humor channel through them, or at least some sort of dark sarcasm that flashed across the face of the old Jew, with his leather skin and fake red heels. But Adolf and Chester were both burnt red by the sun, carried with heavy hearts their plastic Easter egg baskets up cakewalks, broken brick walls. It was Sunday, and the birds sang songs to the Most High, and all the women danced around like the virgins they were most certainly not. Chester thought the air tasted dry, like sawdust plastered in his windpipe. He bust out an enormous cough. Have you ever really sat down and watched Gone with the Wind? Like really thought about it? Adolf said, smacking flies out of his face. No, said Chester without breaking eye contact. And I never will. The denim shirt he wore was bought and paid for, and for that he was content. Chester's kidney stones were being shown in the public in May. So that was the reason for the splurge on the new clothing. His mother had bought him a nice suit a couple of Christmases back, but Chester had resorted to burning it in a metal bucket to stay warm when the electricity was shut off. Man, what a day it has been.